Hello, good morning, Pixel Chatters. Let me see, try and get everything working here. Hey, how you going? Good to see you this morning. Looks like my moving this thing to Sunday has affected a few people that like to go to church on Sunday, so apologies for that. Can't seem to get this right, can I? What do they say? You can't please all the people all the time. Very, very true, isn't it? All right, let's have a look. Here we go. This will give me my feed. G'day, Tim. Good morning, Rob. There we go. Got the chat up. Skip server. I don't need to see my own ads. Perfect. All right. Who we got here? Let's go through from the top here. Brian. G'day, Brian. How you going, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Hey, Rob. Good afternoon, where you are. Nathan, how you going, buddy? Michael Power. Hello, Michael. Tim, Big Oz. Hey, Chris, how you, buddy? Izzy, Greg. Just see you popping in there. Hello, Ben. Hello, all. Well, isn't it a fine morning? Some cup of coffee. All right. So let's kick off by having a chat about all things photography. That's what Pixel Chat is all about, isn't it? But I do want to say thank you first of all to the Patreons that do support the Pixel Chatter show and the VIPs. So they're very important photographers. They're in the VIP group, and you can join that by heading across to patreon.com/on3legs. Go and check it out. For little as $2 a month, you can be part of the VIP group. Come and hang out with us. We have had our photography challenges, and we've had some editing challenges as well, which have been a bit of fun. So we're going to have a look through that today and see how we went. Anyway, photography news. Here's what's going on. So far, I haven't bought any new cameras, which is cool. I tell a lie. I've actually put a deposit on one, but I haven't picked it up yet. And it's not what you think. So I'm going to leave it there. In the comments right now in the live, what camera do you think I have bought? That's my question to you. And I bought it with a nice wide-angle lens. A standard. It comes with a standard lens, a wide-angle lens, and I've ordered a wide-angle lens, and I've ordered a macro lens. I've ordered. What else did I order with it? I ordered a macro lens. It has a Sony sensor, and I'll let you work out the rest. See how you go. See how you go. So that's where I'm at with that. I've made the decision that from a Fuji point of view, I'm not going to go to the. Well, at this stage, I'm not going to go to the 50R or the 50S. As good as it is, I want to go lighter. So that's not what I've got. I think it does it have a Sony sensor? I don't know if it does, but we'll see. Rob says Sony A7R3. Keep guessing, my friends. We'll see if you can get. I don't think anybody will actually guess what it is that I've ordered, because it's not what you would expect. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see what happens. But it has a 1-inch Sony sensor, I think. Enjoying this. The boss bought these really nice sweeteners. Now, I don't normally put sweetener in my coffee, but I don't mind a flavoured coffee. And we used to get a vanilla latte, I think it was, white chocolate latte from Gloria Jean's. They're really unhealthy. Lots of calories in them. So she found this shop online that sells natural sweeteners made with stevia, and this one's a caramel flavoured one, and it's really nice. Really nice. I'm having a caramel latte, if you like. Yeah, the Z7, but the Sony sensor has thrown me. Yeah, well, I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. I'm gonna show you a bit later. I'm gonna let you see if anyone can guess it. But I don't think anybody will. There's actually a bit of a clue on my shirt that I'm wearing today. There's actually a clue on my shirt. And there's nothing else, just the print. Eh? That's your clue. That's your clue. Coconut trees. That's your clue. There we go. I'm going to try and find a picture of it so I can show you very shortly. How's everyone doing, by the way? I have been, I don't know, I just haven't had my mojo lately to go out and shoot. And I haven't filmed any YouTube videos. I've still got some to edit of old Fat Ben, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to get those up. I've got to finish them off. I can't find one in the same. Let me find a picture that gives you a bit of a look at what it is. Let me show you. Let me see. But I'm going to keep you guessing for. I'm not going to show you straight away. We'll come back to that. I'm going to close that tab because you'll see that tab if I share that. All right. Who else is Googling? Yes. Let's see if you can work it out. Anyway, so what I have been working on is my FJ Cruiser build. Now, for those of you that don't know, I made a decision about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, that what I was going to do was build a photography touring vehicle. And I bought an FJ Cruiser a few months ago, a Toyota FJ Cruiser. You can't buy them new anymore, so I bought a second-hand one. Got one in really good condition, never been off-road, and I've been planning the build. And the idea is that I can pull up anywhere and do photography and set up and pack up really quickly, have all my battery chargers in the back, have all my photography gear in the back, and make it really easy for me to be able to get out and about and do photography. And so I've been working on a bit of that, along with obviously my health, now coaching a few people as well. So this program that I was in, the weight loss coaching, I'm nearly at 30 kilos down, and now I've got about, I don't know, 10 friends that I've introduced, maybe 15, and I'm helping some of those as well. So I've learned how to coach in that environment. So I'm doing a bit of coaching, which fits nicely with my business, because if you don't know, I'm in business coaching. So that's kept me a bit busy, and something has to give, doesn't it? So, and then I've been focusing on the build of the FJ, so I can get back out there and do my photography. Because what I want to do is, as sad as this sounds, I'm sort of overshooting around Sydney, and I know for anybody who lives in Sydney will probably relate to that, and I know anybody who shoots a lot in their hometown will relate to that. So not just in Sydney, and so I want to travel further, but I want to make sure I'm set up to do it in a way that's really comfortable. So I did a few trips, which you saw last year and early this year in my X5. Which was okay, but it wasn't set up for touring. I had to put everything in. I had to unpack everything, and just for a quick night away or 2 nights away, it's almost too inefficient to make it. It's too much of an effort, as bad as that sounds. And then when I get to site, it takes me about an hour to set up camp with my current setup, and about an hour and a half to pack up. And so I was looking for something quicker, and I'm not a fan of swags. I don't really feel like that's for me. I thought about it, but what I've decided to do is get a rooftop tent, but a clamshell one that opens up and shuts, a James Baroud one. So the FJ build is on the way. I've fitted a dual battery tray yesterday. I'm going to see the auto electrician this afternoon to get the finalised quote sorted and what's going to happen. And then that'll get that in there so I can run my fridge full time, which is something that I couldn't do before. And then after that, I'm hoping to also order my proper roof rack for the rooftop tent, and then I can go and get the tent. And once that's done, I can start heading out there. The rest can happen later. So that's sort of what's going to happen. So the auto electrician is going to put in a power point in the back with an inverter so I can charge my DJI batteries and my camera batteries. I'll have plenty of USB outlets as well. And I'll have a second battery, so I don't have to worry about flattening down my main starting battery, which is really important. So really, that's sort of my current focus, and looking forward to getting that up and running. Hey, it's going to be good. Here we go. What's going on here? A6500? No. Panasonic Lumix? No. L-Mount Alliance? No, don't know what that is. S1R, no. G'day, Spanner. How you going, Steve? Chris, 30 kegs is a big number. Yes. Yeah, well, I'm actually at 29 this morning. I got another kilo to go to get to get there. And my parents were over on the weekend. They come down. They live about 5 hours drive away. And they came, and my mum said it's the thinnest she can ever remember me being. Even when I was a teenager, she doesn't remember me being this thin. I'll have to run around the shower to get wet. Yes, yes. The thing now is keeping it off, right? So this is going to be the true challenge. But I'm really glad I did it. You know, it's been a big focus this year, a huge focus this year, and I'm one of those guys that finds it difficult to focus on too many things at once. So something had to suffer, and unfortunately, I think it's been the vlogging. More so than anything, because the program I'm on requires me to walk every morning before breakfast, 5,000 steps. So I've sort of got to make sure I fit that in. So unless I'm hiking somewhere with the camera gear. But I've lost 29 kilos. So my camera pack weighs usually about 13 to 15 kilos, depending what's in it. So I've lost double that. Isn't that incredible? When you think about that, that is incredible. Pretty cool. All right. So let's get stuck straight into having a look at the editing challenge. I wanted to jump into that. Let me get the album up. So if you're a VIP, what happens for the VIPs, and it's interesting, there wasn't many edits done of this one. What happens if you're a VIP is you're inside a private community online, and that private community, we hang out and we chat, but we also have challenges in there. So we have editing challenges, and we have a photography VIP challenge between each show. And so the editing challenge, I upload one of my raw images and of a photo that I've taken in the past, and everyone gets to edit it. So we are going to take a look at that. Let me just flip over here. And there wasn't many people actually jumped into that. Let's have a look. Can see the guesses still coming through. Some good guesses there, by the way, but still haven't hit the nail on the head. So this was the raw image that I uploaded. Now this is actually an image that I took many years ago, I think on the D700 from memory. And a friend of mine who's a watercolour painter painted this image. It's hanging on my wall as a watercolour. Beautiful image. And I actually processed it in HDR. So it'd be interesting to see what everyone did with this single raw. Beautiful. So here was this one. Brian did some basic global adjustments: profile, white balance, exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, vibrance, and some HSL adjustments, which is hue, saturation, and luminosity. Local adjustment, clarity, and texture on the rock, which looks great. Good job, buddy. Did crop the sky and finish out with a little bit of a spot removal, which you would have needed because I had a fair bit of junk on my sensor. Good job. Nice. Steve Algie. Oh, that's nice. I like it. Let's just go back to the original there. What did he do? Nice. Very nicely done, mate. 1 hour later with a lot of fun editing. Now, this is what this is all about, right? Is giving you the chance to be super creative. Man, that's good. I really, really like that. That is very good. So this is why the editing challenge is so important. And Steve, by the way, is Spanner. If you're wondering who Steve is, Spanner's in the chat. But this is a good edit and a good example of what you can do with it if you just have a bit of bravery. It's 20 seconds of courage to try a few different things. Because I would never have done this, and that just makes me think I've got to get more creative. Started in Camera Raw for basic edits, Photoshop for crop, clone, black and white conversion, paint, flip for reflections and blur, Luminar for Sunstar, and I'd gone this far, so I thought, why not? Nik for contrast and define, finished in Camera Raw with sharp and selective light and vignetting. So I want to show you the original. That's the original. Oh, no, it's not. What happened to the original? There it is. That's the original. I don't even know where you got the Sunstar from. You just added it in. Wow. That's awesome, mate. That is awesome. I mean, we don't select a winner for this, but I like that. That's a good job. Oh, another good one. Wow. What did you do there? You guys are getting good at this. Where's my original? There's my original. No clouds in the sky. Who's this? Greg. All right, Greg, you've done it again as well. I gotta get more creative. Did usual quick adjust in Capture One, balance highlights and shadows, opened in Photoshop, cleaned up spots and removed some distraction, added a sky, blended with foreground using blend if, color balance sky to blend in with original colors, mirrored sky and Gaussian blur with transparency over water to reflect sky curves, adjust sky level. Geez, you guys are getting pretty advanced. How good's that? That looks great. Now you've got all the boats in there. Steve taking all the other boats out. Sensational work, guys. I think you should all be pretty happy with that. Some of the three of you have really given this image a good push. All three of you. So Brian, Steve and Greg, I'm going to make you all winners of the editing challenge this week. Because how good have you done? You guys are doing so good. I love the way that you've pushed the envelope, Steve. Because a lot of people, I mean, if you didn't tell people what had been done, a lot of people wouldn't really know. And if you'd never done any photography or any editing, you probably wouldn't know that you've used that you've flipped and you've duplicated and flipped the image here to make the reflection. So to anybody who's never seen this photo before, be going, wow, you would never know that's been edited, and that's the trick. Same with this one here, you would never know that sky wasn't there before. So good job. Just a little thing for both Greg and Brian, something to watch out for. I shot this with a wide angle lens. You can see these poles are leaning out, and the pylons on the harbour bridge are leaning out along with the buildings on the edges, and I can see that both you guys haven't corrected that. Just something to think about. If you just look at the difference with Steve's, how he's corrected that, it just makes a difference, so with these wide angle lenses, this was shot probably with the 14 to 24. I'd have to look at the EXIF information, but you guys have done really well. That I'm impressed with all three of those. Really good. Really good. Isn't it good? Like, that's what this VIP community is all about. Well done. Well done to all three of you for having a crack at it, because that's what this is all about. This community is getting you focused on learning new techniques, and yeah, that's good. All right. Is that taken over from near Luna Park? Sort of. So Luna Park is over here. This is Blues Point Reserve. So I can't remember the name of the street. Oh, I'm trying to show you on the picture. Let me bring Google Maps up and I'll show you exactly where it's taken from, so you can go there. It's a great spot for sunrise photography in Sydney, and a lot of people don't think about it. So I'm going to bring it up on Google Maps for you. Let's go to Blues Point Reserve. The only challenge with it is it doesn't have a lot of foreground. So you've got to be there at low tide to get that rock. So let me bring this back up. Hopefully I'm not infringing any copyright with Google Maps by using them in my YouTube video here, but we'll take the punt. So if I just zoom in here, this here is Blues Point Reserve. So over here is where Luna Park is. See that there? You can see my pointer. Blues Point Reserve is here. See that one there? So you drive down the end of Blues Point Road down to here. There's heaps of parking there in the mornings. And along this little bit here where you see this little grey bit pointing out where it says McMahon's Point, there's like that little beach. There's some stairs down and there's a little beach. And I guess it's a swimming area. It's a bay. You can also come along here and there's a fence. So if you want to get creative with like a 200mm or even a 400mm and just get close crop in of the harbour bridge and the opera house behind it, that's also another good spot for that. So there's lots of good shots to be had from there. The other thing I've shot from there is big panos, because you got this is the harbour bridge over here on the right. So you can see that there. And it's just a good spot, especially if you've got family. So if you want to take a partner with you or some kids, Blues Point Reserve's got a playing area. There's toilets there. It's a really good spot for for a bit of photography. One of my favourite locales in Sydney, but as I said earlier, looking to get out of Sydney more. I want to go and shoot in some other spots. Hey Nunzio, 10 minutes before you go to work. Good to see you, buddy. Oh, just finishing off my coffee. I don't know where Matt's is. Is Matt still in Australia somewhere? I saw that he was at, he went to Bombo Quarry, and I think he was heading down the Great Ocean Road somewhere, so he might be bumping into you somewhere. Izzy? Once I got my touring rig set up, Izzy, you're on my sites. I'm coming to visit you, and we're going to go and do a few locations together down south. I'm going to take you up on that offer. I can't wait. I can't wait to get my touring rig up and running. I'll try and get away at least once a month in it. Once every 2 months maximum. Alrighty, what have we got in this chat box? Let me have a look. I'm trying to get my mouse to go down to my iPhone. I need another coffee, do I? Crikey. Nice job, Spanner. Where are you? G'day from Victoria, Ben. Bit late to the chat today. That's alright. How are you, Laurel? All good? A7R4. No. So if you came in late, by the way, everyone's trying to guess. I have ordered a new camera. It hasn't arrived yet. It has a Sony sensor. 20 megapixel. There you go. I'll help you with that. 20 megapixel. Welcome anytime, says Izzy. Yeah, well, once I've got the rig up and running, buddy, I'll be on the road. I'll be unstoppable. I'm really looking forward to it, actually, to being able to just pull up somewhere, jump into bed, because I'm going to have a rooftop tent. I'm getting a clamshell one. I'll show you the one I'm getting. I know some of you are interested in sort of touring and let me find touring and camping. But for me, that's the next step to really get out and about, you know, to... Here we go. Let me see if I can find a good photo. There we go. That one looks good. Can I just... How do I open that? Okay, here we go. I'm going to share this with you. So this is what's going on my roof. But it's going to be the black one. So it's called a James Baroud Space Evo, and it takes like 30 seconds to set up. You leave all your bed in there set up, and it goes on the roof of the car. So you just go to bed, get up in the morning, close it, and go to your sunrise location or go to your next locale. So really looking forward to that. And you can sort of see it sitting on a car there. There's one on a car. So it just sits on the car. Pretty funky. So that's what I'm going to go for. That's what I've decided on. There was a white FJ with one on it, actually. It looked really good. Actually suits the car. Let's just put FJ Cruiser up here. FJ Cruiser. I don't know if anybody else has ever had one of these. But that one's got a different model on it. Yeah. It just suits the car nicely. There's one with it closed. So that's what's going to be on the top. Looking forward to it. That's an FJ, by the way. I've got a white one. That's a different. I've got a white one, and I'm gonna work on maybe getting it wrapped with some on 3 legs colours and stuff. That's the plan. All right, it's a good job to those guys that did the challenge. Really, I'm stoked you guys are enjoying the challenges and getting into it. But it would be nice to see more people jump into that editing challenge, wouldn't it? Jump in and have a crack. Okay. Get decent light bars. You mean like spotlights? Is that what you mean? I think so. Or are you talking about, like Star Wars, where lightsabers? RX-10-4. No, but I think it's the same sensor as the RX-10. I think. I think. So you're getting close, Dave. When's your next trip west, says Rick? November? I want to say late November. I'm going to fly over in commercially, not in my plane, and spend a few days there. Probably 5 nights is my plan. Light bars. Okay, so I was just going to put a couple of round spotlights on the bull bar on the front once I get a bull bar mounted. I don't want to go too crazy. I see people that have got 14 million lights on the front of their car and wonder why. My philosophy is not to drive at night if I can help it, because that's when the wildlife is out. So I just want them if I am having to move, but yeah. Good choice for camping, yes. Great Ocean Road's on your list this week. Aussie lol. Cool. Awesome. My dad lived there when he first moved. Yeah, it was a good spot to live. I think there's a lot of controversy because there's a big tower there, and I think it might be Housing Commission, that tower. I'm not sure. Or was that the one that was at the Rocks? Can't remember. Yeah. Just going through the chats. Yeah, a lot of work, Steve. Yeah, he spent a lot of time on it, didn't he, Brian? But great, just a great example of if you just sit and play for a while. I mean, you can't break anything, can you? When you're editing, and all you do is learn. You learn, and I think for me, I don't do HDR anymore. In the sense of taking multiple exposures, very rarely would I ever do that now, and partly because the sensor is so much more capable than what it was. But it was still pretty capable back then. But I have Trey Ratcliffe and his HDR courses to thank for my ability to be able to edit. So things like selections, things like luminosity masking, things like masking. I had no idea how to do any of that before I did his course. And then I spent many, many hours editing like crazy. And that's, I've got him to thank for that really, because otherwise I wouldn't have done it. Okay. Well, Sony Cybershot. No. See how you go. Okay, let's jump into here. Let's jump into the VIP challenge. Don't worry about spotlights. Light bar is what you need. Because it's what you need. Because it's what you need. Dun, dun. Now, if you don't know what that song is because you're not an Aussie, well, anyway, they made it pretty big in the US. I did think about it, nuns. I thought about a light bar under the rack on the front. Because I have seen people do that. Do you think that's more effective than putting spotties on? Or do I do 2 light bars? Is that what you're saying? A light bar on the bar and a light bar up there? I don't know. It's been so long. So when I used to have a 4-wheel drive years ago, LED lights didn't exist. Like all of this technology didn't exist. You have to, these days it's just so much easier. There's so much stuff out there. All right, so what am I doing? I'm jumping into the VR. I got sidetracked again. I get sidetracked a lot. So the last challenge, here we go, that we had is black and white, and it was picked by Steve Algie to challenge some people. As we know, Steve likes to do a little bit of black and white. We've seen that in the editing challenge there. So let's pop across and look at the screen. Here we go. The boss was a bit challenged by this, as I am with black and white, because black and white is quite a unique thing, and I think a specific taste. Like some people like it, some people don't, and some people are attracted to it. Some people aren't. But she said there was a couple of standouts that she picked that were easy to pick. So let's go through and have a look. Okay. So Therese, black and white ruffed lemur, family at Hunter Valley Zoo. I saw Therese's images from Hunter Valley Zoo. Looked like a good day out. Therese Elsie, reflecting on Woy Woy waterfront. Nice. What did I do with that note from the boss? There we go. Trying to find she wrote me who the winners are, so I'm sort of having a look as I go through. Tim Trim, Sulphur Crested Cockatoo. Yeah, aren't their feathers amazing? Beautiful. Would have been nice if he was on something more natural, but that's all right. Nice. Oh, wow. Trumpet Flower Abstract, Tim Trim. Drawing inspiration from Edward Weston. Isn't that nice? That is good. See, sometimes it is like, and you don't see these things until you get up close, do you? Like, it's good to explore and try different things. Brian Willett, nice one. That's a good way. That's a good one to turn into black and white, isn't it? Because it's quite contrasty, but also very moody. Floral box. What have we got going on here? Trying to guess what it is because there's no notes, but I can see an apple, a music note. Looks like is it a markets? Interesting. Floral box. Wow, it's quite unique. Is that a couple of towers? Where is that? The moon there. Greg West. Hey, the old salamander tree. I love this tree. It's a great tree. I'm going to be back up there in January is my plan. And I'm going to shoot the dunes as well. Bill Dunshee. This old church was founded as we walked 130 kilometre part. As we walked 130 kilometre part of the Camino de Santiago in northern Spain. Oh, you didn't walk 130 kilometres. You walked a part of it. Hopefully. XT3 Fuji. Beautiful. Nice job, buddy. Steve Algie. Through the Never. My latest edit. Simple composition from Newcastle Beach on a day where there wasn't much happening. It's worth pushing through as you never know what you may discover. Yeah, it's very true. I think there's always something to photograph, and I've been guilty of being very single focused with my landscape photography, and sometimes it's good. That looks great. I mean, it's quite a good abstract image. You know, I would put that on the wall. I like it. The new one. This is cool. Street Art, Burke Street, Maitland. Steve Algie. Yeah, that looks cool, doesn't it? Oh, red, that's nice. Bald Hill, Avon Valley Sunrise. So this is Ren Thielen in WA. 2-shot pano, 12mm, 12-second f11 ISO 200, taken on the OMD M5 Olympus. Beautiful shot. I love it. Nice. Therese Elsie, Bush Stone Curlew. Good shot. Good eye focus. Look at that. It looks like it's looking right down the lens. Crikey. Brian Willett. Another one from that seaside location. Same again. Different crop. Looks good, buddy. Good spot. Tim Trim. Fishing boat under stormy skies. Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Really, I love the layers in that, you know, nicely picked up. The only colour in this image is a slither of blue between the top clouds. Shames me, I prefer the colour version. Huh? Bill Dunshee, typical old graveyards in many of the churches found along the Camino. XT3. Nice artistic shot, like it. Good work, buddy. And that's it. All right, let's have a look. Let's find the runner-up. The runner-up is Therese Elsie with the curlew. Good job, Therese. You're the honourable mention that the boss has picked for your curlew shot. Honourable mention. I'm just typing it in there. Great work, Therese. And the winner is, drum roll please, drum roll please. Who is the winner? The winner, the winner, the winner. Who is the winner? Can we have a drum roll? We need a drum roll. The winner is, where does it stop? Ta-da! Greg West for the salamander tree. Good work, Greg. Well done, Greg. Winner of challenge of the black and white challenge. And Greg gets to pick the next theme. You get to choose the next challenge theme. There we go. How good's that, eh? Nice shot. Beautiful. Good job. Hey, perfect. All right, so let's have a look and see how did everyone go with the guessing game on the new camera that I've ordered. I have a feeling somebody guessed it. I saw it in the chat box before. I saw it in the chat box, and let's have a look and see who guessed it. I saw it there. Let's have a look. Let's go back. Let's go back. Tim Trim, you are right. I have ordered this. And is that because we spoke about underwater photography before, maybe? So I ordered this. I've got a good relationship with the guy that owns the dive store, the local dive store, and he's using one of these and showed me some good photos. And people have had mixed results with these. I don't want to take my Nikon D850 or 810 underwater and all that gear to Fiji. And so the reason why my shirt was a clue was all the coconut trees that are on it. But this is the Sea Life DC2000. It's got a 20-inch Sony sensor in it. Sorry, a 1-inch, 20 megapixel, a 20-inch sensor. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? A 1-inch, 20 megapixel Sony sensor in it. It does shoot RAW, but the RAW cycling time's like 5 seconds or something ridiculous. But that doesn't bother me. And I've ordered it with 2 strobes and a focus light for on top, just for photography, because I don't want to do video at this stage. So that's what I'm getting. It's this, the Sea Life DC2000. I know Nuns is into his underwater photography, and he'll be disgusted. Because but I just want something simple. And after reading all the reviews and finding out more about it, what I've learned about this is it is a very simple setup, and the camera itself is actually waterproof. So that's it there, down to like 18 meters or something. And then once it's in the case, it's even waterproof down even further. So that is the camera that I've ordered. Just thought it wouldn't be land camera. No, I haven't decided what to do with the land camera, but yeah, I don't know who else does any underwater photography, but yeah, you can see that I'm going to Fiji in about a month. I'm just seeing if there's any others here, and this is the plan. A bit of this action, So hopefully I'll be able to bring back some crackers that I can share with you guys from underwater. I'm going to give it a go. So well done everyone for entering that challenge. Like I said, Greg gets to pick the next one. Rick says, well, this new camera makes sense. Ben's on the land and in the sky. Now he's under the water. Yeah, well, I've always loved my diving, and I actually have a Panasonic Lumix underwater camera that I've been using with a housing, but it's old and it doesn't get me the results that I want. So I had to decide what I was going to do, whether I keep that one with a housing and build it up, or if I just get something more modern that shoots RAW, because I wanted to shoot RAW. And I don't know if I'll need to be honest with you. I think if I can get everything working well, I'll just shoot JPEG, and for what I want to do, it's just to play around. And I did think about putting this into a case. This is my Canon G7X Mark II that I used to use for all the vlogging. I don't use that for vlogging anymore. My vlogging one is here somewhere, is the Canon mirrorless. Where is it? Here it is. So this is the new one that I use for vlogging now, is this one here. Because this one, the autofocus is playing up on it. But people use this for diving and housing as well. So they're great. You know, it's going to be a bit of fun, and it's challenging, but I think I'm ready to give it a go with a couple of strobes and see how it goes. So I ordered a wide angle lens and a macro lens as well. And they're called wet lenses. So you can actually change them over underwater. And that's the idea. So looking forward to giving that a go. We'll see how it goes. Is anybody else, who else is into... So Tim says raw highlight recovery underwater, especially in C1, is amazing. Okay, well I'm going to shoot raw and just see how it goes. And then because I've never dived in Australia, believe it or not. I've done all my diving in Fiji. I've done, I don't know how many dives now, a couple of hundred dives, all in Fiji. So I'm going to dive in January with the grey nose sharks up at Nelson Bay. I'm planning on that. And then I'm going to go back at Easter, and there's a couple of other locations up there that have good macro that I'm going to dive. So I'm going to start sort of trying to dive a few times a year and just take that with me. So that's the idea anyway. And you know, even with the new rig, I'll be able to go up there for a weekend, do a bit of diving, do a bit of land photography, and then come back. That's the plan. So lots of cool things to get into. All right. Brian, why do you need a vlogging camera as you no longer vlog? Well, my plan is to continue vlogging, mate. So just having a break. How's that? Having a break from the vlogging. Doesn't mean I no longer vlog. I will get back into it at some stage. But having a break. M43 is good underwater. Very cool. All right. So let's get stuck into the VIP challenges. And see the challenge, the editing, the critiquing. We've done the challenge. So Greg, you're going to pick the next challenge theme. You've got to send that to me via private message or email, and I'll get that up and running. And as for the editing challenge, I'll find another raw image in the next couple of days and put that up inside the group as well. And get that happening as well. All right. So I've got 2 images sent in. Let me share my screen. Here we go. So the 2 images that I've got, this one here is from Laurel Box. Sent in, Golden Splendor is what Laurel has called it. Taken at Olinda in Dandenongs, an XT20 Zeiss Chewit 50mm macro f5 1/60th of a second ISO 250. Nice shot. And then this one here was from Dennis Stewell on a Nikon 7200 Takina 11-20mm. F8 ISO 100 handheld midday with a person in it, which I'm assuming might be a self-portrait. Not sure if that's you, Dennis, or not. I like this. He put, I have attached a photo from a couple of years ago if you get desperate to critique an image. I'm always desperate. In fact, I haven't had many images sent in to me recently, so if you've got some images, send them in. So let's start with this one here from Laurel, and then we'll have a look at the one from Dennis. All right. So let's start looking at the technical issues or technical data to get an understanding. Now, I'm not sure if this was handheld or not. I'm going to assume it was. I don't know. So shot at ISO 250, 1/60th of a second at 20mm. Is it? Sorry, at 50mm rather. 50mm on the XT20 at f5. So my only feedback would be that I don't know what your intention is with this photo. Beautiful. I mean, the colours are beautiful, but there's a couple of things that I will say from a technical standpoint, and we'll get stuck into looking at the composition, etc. in a second. But from a technical aspect, if you want everything in focus, F5 was not the right choice. But if you just wanted this in focus, then it's the right choice. So that's a hard one for me because it's sort of landscape, but it's not what I would typically shoot. Beautiful colours, and I love the light on the colours. So it really does look nice. So I think that's good. So from a technical standpoint, fine. ISO at 250. I mean, that's probably close to the base ISO for the XT20. I don't know if it goes down to 200 or 100. but you probably needed that. If it was handheld, you wouldn't want to have any slower than 1/60th of a second. Because if you know what the sort of the rule of thumb is, that you want your shutter speed to be a higher number than your focal length if you're handheld. So if you haven't heard that before, that's sort of the rule of thumb. So you can see this was 1/60th of a second and the focal length was 50 millimeters. You always want that number to be higher than that number. So 160 is higher than 50. Okay, so if you were 1/50th or 1/25th of a second, then you start really running a risk of getting blur. Now, it's not as true as it used to be, because we now have optical image stabilization that we didn't have when that rule of thumb was created, but it's just a good rule of thumb to remember. All right. Now, let's jump into the develop module. The first thing I saw when I opened this image up was this. This rubbish. For me, if you're going to take a photo of, the great outdoors, take the rubbish with you. Pick it up, put it in your backpack and take it. I quite often do that. It's sad that people leave their rubbish in the bush. I certainly wouldn't take a photo with rubbish in it unless I wanted to depict the rubbish. And I'm assuming that's not what you wanted to do. So don't be afraid to get in under there and remove the rubbish. Get it out. It's the first thing that I spotted. When I zoomed in like that, I then spotted some other interesting compositions. Now, this is the beauty of thinking outside the box. We want to get it all in, but look at the patterns. Look at the patterns in these leaves. Look at that. And you could quite easily, there's some spots here you could really zoom in on, and you could end up with this really nice composition of just the coloured leaves. Because to me, the problem with this image is it doesn't have a focal point for me to look at one thing. So if you zoom right in, and it's a bit hard because it's a bit pixelated there, but you sort of get the picture, right? There's some beautiful colours there. Look at it. Even if you just did that, so you got the tree in the background, and if you made that sharp, and you can see these are a bit out of focus here. This is the problem with shooting at f5, by the way. So if you were on a tripod, you want to go to f9, f11, something like that. Don't be afraid to do some close-ups like this, and it just works really, really well. I remember taking a shot in. Let me have a look and see if I can find it. Taking a shot in Sydney once. Where's my... I still haven't inputted all my photos in here, unfortunately. Isn't that slack of me? I don't know if you remember all those troubles I had with the live stream last year before. So, I need to find an example. Here we go. Here's one. So this is an example of an image that I was doing a photo walk, and people were sort of struggling to find things to shoot. And you can, if you get up close. Now I've got this printed up on a huge canvas in my office, and it just works really, really nice. It's just a good example of getting close up to something and shooting something a bit different. And this is just some bamboo with the sun coming through, but I really like it. It works well, I think. So don't be afraid sometimes to crop in tight. Don't try and get everything in, because sometimes you'll miss stuff when you do that, I don't know if I've got other examples where I've cropped in tight. And I'm guilty of it as well. I don't always crop in tight. I always try and fit too much in. And when you try and fit too much in, you end up sometimes getting too much in. There's my finished one of that. That was my edit, by the way. And just so you guys feel better, can you see that I didn't correct the lens distortion as well? It was back in the early days when I was sort of, I wouldn't even pick that up. Isn't that interesting? There you go. But you guys have edited that image better than I did. But yeah, let's see if I can find another one where I've done something cropped on close. Once again, there's another one where it's a close crop of some steps going up something. So sometimes, not trying not to get everything in can be better than trying to get everything in. And when you try and get everything in, sometimes you get too much in. And so these sort of close-up shots sometimes can give you something different. You know, I don't even know what I was thinking when I shot that one. Pfft, no idea. So just keep that in mind, you know. And like I said, I'm guilty of it myself because you only got to look through my images. I'm always trying to fit as much in as I can, and I shoot with a wide angle. So it's what my eye is attracted to, right? So, and everyone's going to be a bit different as to what you really like to focus on. Where are we down here? Image critique. You know, everyone's going to be a bit different, but I would just suggest that you try and do that, because to me, this image does not have a point of real interest where I can really get my head into, you know, like where I'm not drawn into anything. Yes, it's a beautiful colours, it's a beautiful tree, and I can see why you wanted to photograph it, but to turn it into an image that's really compelling for me to look at, I think it needs something, a different composition. And I think that you've sort of cropped off the left of it here. So you're not getting the whole thing in. So you either needed to go wider and make it a part of a bigger image, and I don't know what else was around it, because that could have worked really, really well, or you needed to crop in tighter and get something where you could just really focus on these beautiful coloured leaves and the shapes, because they all seem to be like in a little flower shape, like they're all, see how they're like a star. It's quite a unique tree, isn't it? So beautiful shot, but that would be my feedback. So when you think about your composition, then good thing to do. Alrighty, so good for having a go, and thanks for shooting that one in. We'll have a look at Dennis's in a second. I'll just have a look at the chat box. What's going on in there? Bolt, Bridge and Moon. Bolty Bridge. Bolty. Nice one, Laurel. I'm a sucker for autumn colours. Yeah, I mean, beautiful colours, aren't they? But it's just, I think, and it can be difficult. I know myself when I see things like that, especially inside of a forest or something, it's really hard to capture sometimes. So get in close, get the details, get the fine details, and sometimes that can be the way to do it. Have you looked at the lower 5x ultra macro lens yet, Ben? No. So I am in contact with the distributor. I have got that bag that I reviewed that he lent me. And I'm trying to get him to give me one of these lenses to take a look at as well. Any test shots with this lens out and about on the web? Yeah, probably check YouTube. Probably there is. Phoenix, good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Oh, and then Greg says YouTube, I think. Yes. Peter Ponzel. Yeah, if your pictures aren't good enough, you're not close enough. Yeah, great saying, isn't it? And I think I'm so guilty of it. And, you know, of not getting in close enough and looking for that other detail. And that's why I like macro. Macro really pushes me to think differently. So I'm super guilty of it. Super guilty of it. All right, let's have a look at Dennis's. But good job for having a crack at that, Laurel. And thank you for sending it in. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who sends their images into Pixel Chatter, because it's a brave move. Putting your images out there for everyone to see and be critiqued. And of course, I always need to have the caveat that just because I make a few comments doesn't make it wrong or different. It's just what my ideas. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my ideas. If you love it, then it's a great shot. You know, I'm not here to make anybody wrong, and I'm certainly not here to make me right. It's just how I would have shot it or what I would have done differently. And sometimes I'll go out and shoot something and then come back and zoom in to check stuff and go, why didn't I take that tight shot? You know, so it's easy to do. And as you saw with my edited version of the Harbour Bridge, that I didn't get rid of the distortion. So I have a bit of a checklist now that makes me check that, by the way. Always check for distortion. So let's flip over and have a look at this image that was sent in by Dennis. Thanks, Dennis, for sending this in, buddy. We'll take a look. Here we go. I don't know where this is. Looks like the Grand Canyon, maybe? Where was it? Let's see if he gave me any clues. No. Is this the Grand Canyon? What do you reckon? because I showed you one before that was from the Grand Canyon. That's that one. That's my one from the Grand Canyon. Do you reckon it's the same spot? I think it might be. Now, by the way, this one of the Grand Canyon that I'm showing you, I took many, many years ago on a point and shoot camera that I took with me. It's such a magnificent spot. Oh, let's zoom back out. There we go. So it might be the Grand Canyon. I'm not sure. Someone might be able to help me. Somebody might be able to help me. Let's have a look. Okay, so this one here from Dennis, a bit tricky for me to critique. I'm not a big fan of putting people into an image, but sometimes it really works well, and I can see why people do it. Definitely see why people do it. This one here, I'm not sure. It's such an amazing landscape that I reckon you could point the camera anywhere and get an amazing shot, because it's insane. I think it is the Grand Canyon. It looks like it. I don't think there's anything else that looks like this anywhere else in the world, unless I'm mistaken. But geography's never been my strong point. But it's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous shot. Now, from a technical point of view, I don't have any more than what he's given me here. So he's got a Tokina 11 to 20 mil, 20 mil at 20 mil, 1/200th shutter speed, f8, ISO 100, handheld. So obviously not a self-portrait. Midday, slightly cropped. So I think midday is always risky, but it works here because of the amazing landscape. It does work. The composition itself works nicely because of the leading line. I'm going to say it would have been nice if you shot a bit more to the left to get right down this valley, but it may not have been possible because that's an awfully big drop. So maybe you couldn't do that. Maybe it would have been life-threatening for you to do that. If we jump into the develop module, I think from a technical point of view, it's handheld. ISO 100, you've got it f8. I would have been tempted to go maybe higher aperture and just shot at ISO 200. Wouldn't have mattered, middle of the day. I mean, you're at 1/200th of a second now. If you went to f13 or something like that, you still would have been fine. 1/100th of a second. Go back at ISO 200 if you want to, and that would give you 1/160th of a second. So you'd still be, well and truly within the safe range for a nice sharp shot. Perfect. All of that technically is good. Let's just jump in and have a look, because my thinking is a bit of a crop could do it justice. So let's just see if we crop it up into a bit of a pano, just to change what we're seeing. See, I like that. Look at that. What do you think of that? So what I did was I cropped it down. So this darker ridge, this ridge line down halfway down through the canyon, is your leading line to lead your eye into the image. And it sort of points across to the person here. One of the challenges with this image, if you have a look at the rule of thirds, is that there's nothing sort of on the intersection. So if I go back to that original crop, I think one of the challenges is there's so much going on that, and there's nothing really on these intersections that's of great importance. So you've just got to be careful, right? So when you've got a portrait of somebody, it's always a good idea to maybe try and stick them onto one of these points. So let's just stick the person on there. I'm going to put this ridgeline here on this one, and these two are going to have nothing on it, just so you can sort of see what happens. Okay, so all of a sudden now, we've brought a whole new strength into this image. Now this crop gives me this line here as a leading line to the person. You've got this here that sort of leads your eye into the distance. And I think, for me, that's a better crop of this. This rock actually frames the person nicely. I would have been tempted, I don't know if you know this person, but I would have been tempted to ask them just to move over a bit to here. So I could have had them sort of here, maybe. You wouldn't want them in front of this ridge line because it would block that. And that's what I'm saying. If you could have been further left just to get some separation, what happens is that parallax error, starts to happen. when you start to move around a bit. But to me, that's one option. The other option would be to crop it more like an 8x10 sort of thing. So get a like in a portrait orientation sort of size, something like this. That also works. So now you get a bit of this foreground, but this foreground doesn't really do anything for me. So I'm sort of tempted to not have that. Alternatively, we could just get rid of old mate out of the image and just do something totally different. And bring this up here like this. Once again, though, trying to keep something of interest on those lines, which is hard when there's so much going on. Because it's an amazing location, isn't it? Look at it. How good is this place? It's incredible. It is incredible. How did this place happen? Oh, wow. Just look at it. Isn't it intense? Look at that thing over there. It's just intense. I want to go back there. When I went there, we just flew in there for lunch and then flew out in a helicopter. I took a flight from Las Vegas. I was staying in Las Vegas and would love to go back there. It's just one of those places. So, Dennis, good shot, buddy. They're just some tips from me. I think, both of those images today, we could go square, actually. Let's just do one more square. Let's do a square crop and see what happens. Oh, where's my crop gone? There it is. We could just do a square one. Like so. And this will work as well. Just square. Something like this. Something like that even. Except I don't like that up there. So I'd probably change that slightly. Putting him right on there. So even something like that looks great. If you really want to, that's a great looking shot. Something like that would work really well. So that sort of gives you a few options. Rob says pano. Let's do pano, eh? Let's just go pano. Let's go back to custom. Unlock that and go pano. How about that one, Rob? That's a little too extreme, isn't it? All right. Let's go pano. Let's pano this shot. I agree with you. I think a pano will work well. But I still think that guy needs to be more... Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful spot. I mean, that's a nice pano as well. I mean, there's just so many options with that shot. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Good stuff, everyone. So I want to say thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate the fact that everyone tunes in live and joins me for Pixel Chatter. And I know it's a small group of us. Sometimes we get maybe 30. I don't know. I think the most we've had is about 40 people on this show. But it's a dedicated group, isn't it? And really appreciate that. So I'm going to sign off now. It's been a good Pixel Chatter. Congratulations to Greg and Therese. Greg in particular for taking out the challenge. Congratulations to everyone that participated, because that's what it's all about, is getting the camera out to take some photos. And thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining me live today. Now, what I would ask is if you do have an image you'd like to get critiqued on the show, I'm starting to run out of images. Send me some in. The email is down in the description. Send me an email with 3 or 4 images, whatever you like. Send me whatever you like. And I'll have a crack at critiquing them. We'll take a look at them live on the show. And Greg, if you're watching this, can you please shoot me through the next theme for the next VIP challenge, and I'll get that up. Pixel Chatter next will be in 2 weeks, which will be the 18th of August. Pretty sure I'm clear that day. 18th of August, Australian time, Sydney Eastern Standard Time at 9:30 in the morning. So we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Until then, get out there and take some photos. See ya.